everyone. My name is Nico Despopoulos, and welcome to my new show, Symbols. Okay, I'm an American-born Jew of Greek ancestry. My life has been full of a search for truth. And this search for truth has brought me through Greek Orthodoxy. It's brought me to Jewish studies of Kabbalah. I've lived in Japan for 12 years and been throughout the Far East. I mean, really, truth is a human endeavor, right? The discovery of truth. And we develop symbols throughout the ages. We have developed symbols throughout the ages to express these truths that have been discovered, right? And as I have gone through my studies, I've noticed more and more how much these symbols are used in media, in movies and TV show. I mean, you can see the series of reaction videos to the musical group Tool that I did with my nephew. And we can see how loaded their music is with symbols from Christianity and even further. I'm convinced that there's a lot of kabalistic references in their music as well. And that's really what I started to notice in many TV shows and movies, was this influence of kabalistic symbols and archetypes being projected into newer shows, right? So before we get into kabalistic symbolism, I want to just give you a couple of examples of a symbol that we're all much more familiar with, especially in the West, the symbol of the savior, the self-sacrificing hero who gives up his own life in order to achieve an ultimate victory, right? We know exactly where this is coming from. Some of us may even know that its origins are even further back in history than the last 2,000 years. So let's start. Well, I was born in 1977. And so it only seems appropriate to me to start with the 1977 classic of Star Wars. So Obi-Wan Kenobi warns Darth Vader that if he strikes him down, he will become more powerful than he can ever imagine. And that's what happens. Gives up his life, but now he's mystically able to influence the outcome of this ultimate battle. He encourages Luke to use the Force. And just when it seems that evil will prevail, good comes from out of nowhere. The bad guys are thrown into confusion, and the galaxy is saved from an ultimate terror. Okay, so this is just one example of many, right? If we go to the 1986 classic war film of Platoon, where we see this character of Chris, who is a college-educated young man who volunteers to go to the war. This is your classic Heart of Darkness story, where we have these two sergeants of Elias, which means Elijah, right? This is God is my Lord, or my God is Lord, versus the other sergeant, Barnes. We know what lives in the barn, right? In the barn lives animals. And so these two sergeants are fighting over the soul of Chris. And Elias falls in this classic arms stretched out motion. reminiscent of the cross. In the end, Chris is able to overcome the forces of Barnes, and through this last battle, he destroys Barnes and becomes his own man. Let's skip forward a bit to 2017 with The Dead Man's Chest, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's interesting how powerful this savior motif can be, where even a bad guy like Jeffrey Rush and as Captain Barbossa falls with his arms outstretched, sacrificing himself to save his daughter and the crew of the Black Pearl. We now find him to be a very sympathetic character. Now, there are even more obvious examples. You only need to go to the 2001 production of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, to see Gandalf confronting the Balrog, this demon of the deep. Yet, in his efforts, Gandalf falls. He does this all for the benefit of his friends. And yet, we're told how he fights the beast. And he dies. We're only told that he had to come back to finish his mission. He reappears to them, resurrected, more powerful than he ever was before, now as Gandalf the White. An even more obvious example of this motif would be the 2005 production of the Chronicles of Narnia, where Aslan, the lion, gives himself up, gives his life up to save the others. He's beaten. He's humiliated.
Wait. Let him first be shamed.
They cut his hair. They make fun of him. They mock him. They step on him. And he's killed. Dies as a sacrifice upon an altar. And the witch proclaims he is dead and throws her arms out in the shape of a cross. Yet, she didn't understand the scriptures on the altar, and Aslan is resurrected. So these are all obvious examples of this savior motif, this archetype that is such a big part of our Western cultural experience, right? That comes from thousands of years of saviors in our cultural development from the Near East into the West. This is just an example of how powerful these symbols and these images can be, what an emotional response they can invoke. And as we go forward with this series, we'll start to see exactly what are the symbols of Kabbalah, how they're different from this savior motif, and how newer films have been looking to this system of Kabbalah in order to invoke new emotions with new stories that still touch us somehow deeply in the core. I hope that you will continue to go on this journey with me to discover even more symbols in more shows, movies, series. And please remember to like, subscribe, share, and let me know what you think in the comments. If there's another show you think we really need to take a look at, I want to know about it. Okay? Until next time, be well.